Hey everyone, it's Imran, Web Squadron. Sorry, you're probably hearing my microphone make squeaky noises as I adjust it. Hope you're all doing okay. Please say hi if you are watching the live right now. It's Wednesday, the 31st of January. We're already like less than 11 months in totality until Christmas again. It'll be round before we know it. You know, whenever people say time flies, it's going quicker, time does not go quicker. Time is the same. It just feels quicker because we're always busy. Hi, John Sinaitis. How you doing? I wanted to cover off a few things really. Um, I I decided at the turn of the year 2024 that I was going to really try hard to get out of the forever helping everybody because I have this problem whereby I have a force of habit where I always want to make a difference and I keep helping people. Hey Paul, how you doing? And Gary as well. Hope you're okay. And I made a conscious decision that I've got to reduce the amount of free help I just keep giving out. Hey Maddie, I mean obviously there's the YouTube videos and the Web Squadron group. And the same thing happened yesterday and today whereby company gets in touch and they kind of are like, we'd like you to do like a tutorial video for one of their products. Hey, Paul, how you doing? If anyone does want to join the live chat, I mean, by the way, that's another thing as well. Only certain people can join the live chat from now on. I'm changing it. Paul can join if he wants, but he doesn't have to. Um, so companies, yesterday and today, hey, Chris, WP Imagine, how you doing? They contact you and you tell them the price and they then start bartering downwards. And one of my problems is that often I'm going to give you the link, by the way. So this is for Paul and other people who know about this. I'm going to post the link in that Facebook Messenger thingy. So I'm just going to paste it over there. So you'll see the link over there if anyone does want to. Well, not anyone. It's mainly, whoa, what's going on here? The Facebook Messenger thing's doing something really funny. It's like it's loading like loads of previous messages in some weird way. In fact, I'll just post it over here. I'm going to post a message over here. Sorry, this is really bizarre how I'm doing things at the moment. So I've pasted it over there. But if I do not allow you to be part of the live chat, even when you join, don't be offended. It's because I am now basically fed up of giving so much free support and help to people who then just throw it back in my face. And I'll talk to you a bit more about what I mean by that. But I've had a couple of companies contact you, they barter down the price, and then you kind of go, well, you know what? I'll do you a favor. Oh, here we go. First one's in.
Sorry, it's not Paul. I'm disappointing everybody.
I know. And we know when you have those headphones on,
Yes.
it always gives me that Princess Leia vibe. Not in.
Shall I change into my bikini?
Do you know what? I had a feeling you were going to say that. I really did. Paul's in as well. It's just like, big, chunky headphone kind of things.
So
Hey,
if I remind you of Princess Leia, who does Paul remind you of? Morning, Paul.
By the way, hey,
morning, Mark.
So what I was saying is, before these two invaded, is that yesterday and this morning
we make the stream.
You do actually. It does make a huge difference. Plugin companies get in touch, you name a price, and they start to barter down. And then sometimes, especially last year, I would always start to go, okay, you know what? I know who you are. I've used your products. Why not? We'll go down to your price. And then at the end of the day, you realize you're still spending the same amount of time researching, recording, editing, and I've really put my foot down in 2024. And I don't care if they don't like it. I don't care.
Put it like this: as a web designer, if you have a potential client that barters with you and haggles with you, do you walk away? And I would say there's no difference whatsoever. In all honesty, it's probably worse if you have someone that has come to you because they've seen your videos on YouTube and they want to get in front of your audience, and then they undervalue it. It's like, well,
absolutely.
You want to get in front of potentially thousands of specific WordPress users. but you don't want to pay for that, then do generic advertising.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like strippers, right? It's like, I know that I said that on purpose. It's like strippers, right? If you don't pay, you don't get, and that's what it is at the end of the day. All right. Would you
Take your
agree,
word for
Mark
it.
Harris?
Sorry.
Would you agree?
Yeah, they tend to like getting paid.
Yes, they do tend to like getting paid. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this brings me on to something that I'm not gonna go into over details, right? And I'm just gonna let it out because it's been brewing inside of me for the last 24 hours. But again, in 2023, I've helped out so many people where they've said, yeah, we'd like a video because we've created a code. By the way, this does not apply to you, Mark Harris. You're always allowed to pass over your code snippets because we love doing videos. But there are some people out there, they've created a code and they need a video. Hey, Imran, can you do a video? Yeah, I'll do a video. But now I feel like if that means that I don't have a license to do what I want to do with that kind of bit of code, if I want to like take the code somewhere, um, it leaves a bit of a fun. I don't know. I'm not explaining it very well. So you know what? Let's switch. Let's dodge that topic now, kind of thing. But it's
Yeah, we don't want to go down that one, do
let's
we?
not go down that road. But yeah. So one thing I did want to touch on is and it's something that I've got a video coming out about it. And it's obviously about discovery calls, and I do charge for them, especially when I feel like you're going to explain the specifics over a project. And I'm still getting a load of people that go, we would never ever charge for that. And I think it's because they're worried about losing the business. And I keep trying to get over to people that how many times have you gone through like A to Z, like over how we're going to do the project? You might even have supplied like a 10-page PDF explaining all the steps. And then the client goes away and gets someone else to do it. And so many come back going, yeah, that's true. By the way, Paul, I've just noticed your video coming up. I didn't realize that one. I mean, I saw your video, but you know, on WP Tuts, if anyone's not seen it, you've got like you posted it 18 hours ago where it shows the
Oh,
screenshots.
is it?
Did you do? Was that as a GIF? No. What was that? Just a video.
Are we talking about? Oh, let's have a look. Are we talking about the WPTAT's website is showing up on there as? With me
I think it's the WooCommerce, the login and registration pages for your bricks blueprint. Looks quite nice.
Okay, cool.
No, sorry, yeah. So what it was in relation. Sorry, where am I going with this? Discovery calls. That's it. Discovery calls. Do you charge for discovery calls, Mark?
I don't really have much of a place for them in my workflow, if I'm honest. I'll talk with somebody, get the details I need to write the quote, and that's enough. I try to combine it all into one thing. If somebody wants an extra step in there, I've never been asked, but I don't know what it would be really.
I think the way to address it is kind of twofold. If you say, like, I charge for this side of things, but if you decide to work with me, then that comes off the bill. So then that way it kind of makes them go, okay, well, I'm serious about using this particular company. I've seen the work and I want to kind of move forward. And it's a good way of being able to whittle, prospective, should we say, tire kickers out of the way. And it's like, if they're not willing to pay for it, it's up to you. Everyone's got a different take on it. And I think every market is different. And, your reputation and all those kinds of things all kind of play into it. But I do agree that you can potentially spend an awful lot of time researching, looking at what needs to be done, what tools you need to be able to fulfill the job, and blah, 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 blah. So I think, the sort of the icing, should we say, on that little cake is to say, well, look, the cost of this, you'll get this back if you choose to work with me. It's up to them then.
Yeah, absolutely. And that does work. Now, Hemanth, I'm only posting up your question. I'm not going to answer it because I don't understand it. So if you can clarify a bit more about, you're saying when the user tries to edit the article in dev, it should redirect them to write.example. I don't quite understand that. So if you can clarify that, that would be great. If anyone on the live chat understands it, please jump in, do that. Go on, Mark, you're going to say something.
Looks like he's using a subdomain. If that right dot whatever is some reference to a subdomain.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, he says it should redirect him. So I don't know if it's a particular customer or what. So there's a particular
Sure,
person is being. I don't know.
sure.
I'm not sure if it means him or.
Just thinking about your discovery thing, the one that gets me is when you've got an existing good client and they come up with a new feature idea.
Hmm.
And so they kind of bypass that whole new prospect, getting in touch, putting, and they're just like, oh, how much would it cost for this? And you're like,
That's okay.
"Ah."
I
But
mean,
yeah,
I
but then
mean,
you actually can spend ages looking into it. Like the
You
one I
can.
shared in our group about the PDF generation on the fly for WooCommerce
yeah.
products.
Well, yeah. Sorry,
Sorry,
go on.
maybe this is something that you do factor in again and say, like, I can look into it. There's no immediate thing. It's quite a specialized feature. It might require unique coding and features, things like that. So for me to do that research, I'm more than happy to do it. Again, this would come off the overall cost if you decide to move forward. But maybe you do put a sort of research fee in there, even if it's a nominal fee. Because
Yeah.
again, you'll probably find that some people will go like, "Oh no, don't worry about it. It's just an idea. I saw it on so and so, blah 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 blah," and it kind of again, it just means that you don't have to spend a huge
Yeah,
amount of time
do
doing it.
get a lot of that.
Yeah,
Do get
I
a
mean,
lot
it
of
was
that.
it really came to a head for me about a year and a half ago. So we had an existing client, and they wanted like a meeting to discuss changing their website. And we had a 1 hour meeting, and I went over loads of stuff. And then they wanted another 1 hour meeting.
What do
And
they
because I
do
was
out
like,
of
well, it
interest?
sounds like we are definitely going to redo their website. And they were an existing client. By the way, thanks, Tom, for the
Thank you.
conversations. I'm surprised you can even say that. I mean, we don't half talk a load of shit on this live chat, but
Well, just before you continue, what do they do?
what do you mean?
What does the company do? Just vaguely.
Oh, they're actually a doctor's surgery in London, so they're not short of cash. Put it that way.
Okay,
Um,
I've got a client does private as
and
well,
and
private doctor
and
stuff.
and they're private. They're not NHS. They're
Yeah.
private doctor, and they do loads of private work. And then they wanted another meeting. And during that meeting, again, we discussed the solutions. And it was again like, okay, yeah, we're going to sort out the payment. And then they wanted another third meeting. At this point is when I was like, hold on, right? We've already had 2 meetings, but you're not committing to the start date or paying. And that's when I was like, we've got to start charging for these. And the meeting stopped.
Yeah.
Maybe a different approach to that would be to say before the meeting starts, say, look, I'm happy to have, these, should we call them like fact finder meetings. But if the project doesn't go ahead, then retrospectively, I'll have to charge you for those meetings. If the project goes ahead, then you can factor that time you spent into your proposal cost
Mm.
fee.
Exactly.
I
So you
mean,
kind of flip it the opposite way.
and
No,
in theory,
absolutely, and that's what I kind of do. But you know what? I think they were just taking the piss, basically, with
I mean,
like
in
meeting.
reality, a meeting that has a good point should save you time on the project because you've not got to keep going back to them with
Mm.
questions. But how often do you go to meetings and it's like that meeting could have been a bloody email?
And that meeting could have been 10 minutes and not an hour.
Yeah, yeah,
99% of meetings in the NHS for me, that is exactly what they were. We could have just had this in an email. What that was? That's
yeah.
yeah.
I'll
Meetings
probably
for
start
me for
seeing those
sake.
adverts for that T-shirt that's got that as a slogan again now. The other thing I was thinking about when people want meetings all the time
Yeah,
is sometimes I look at their business and they're like, there's one I'm dealing with a catering company and they do fixed price menus, and I go, okay, so you might meet with one of your clients once to discuss their menu. Would you go for a second or a third meeting just to tweak what's included in your 1995? No. So why do you expect me to do it?
yeah. Hey John,
Which,
how you doing?
hi John, which just as a
Hey,
complete
hi.
complete change of topic. So I was speaking to a friend recently. Something he said made me laugh, and we were talking about online design tools, Wix, all of the ones we know about, Shopify, Squarespace. And when clients say, "Well, I could do this myself on those," he came back with, "Yeah, you could download a word processor and write a novel as well."
And you could fix a car with a $9.99 spanner kit, but you wouldn't
Yeah,
want to, would you?
no,
Now, I just want to quickly touch on Floyd's question. He goes, about starting out, are there any alternatives to Fiverr and Upwork? To be honest, though, there are lots of places you could go. Um, I'm not always a fan of places like Fiverr and Upwork because I feel like you're going to be fighting against people that charge very little. You're going to be caught into that bubble. However, you could still find decent clients, you could still make a start. You could still find people, which could lead on to word of mouth referrals. You know, there might be someone who works in a particular niche area and they might let other people know. There is no right or wrong answer, I feel, with this. You know, you might have, it sounds to me like you're trying it out. You're starting out.
I had a play with Fiverr a few years back.
I bet you did.
Just to see if it actually brought in any extra work, and not one, because I put on my pricing, which is my pricing.
Exactly.
And I'm not a $50 website designer.
I'm glad you clarified that. Yes, I was wondering where you were going with that then. But
You
yes.
know, just nothing, absolutely zip, nothing at all.
Yeah.
If you look at Fiverr now, though, they really need to rebrand themselves to at least 500er, because most of the
Nothing's
things on there, and
$5.
no, but nothing is cheap on there. I mean, you can get, like, you know, I'll remove the background for your image for $5. This one thing, but if you look at most things on there, especially because it's kind of like now mostly the rated ones that kind of come up first, they're all their starter package, which contains nothing, is their sort of $14.99. Then it jumps up to like $199,
Oh, yeah.
then $599. So you kind of have to be realistic about it. I think the days of Fiverr being a fiver
Yeah.
are long
Yeah,
gone.
long
It's the
gone.
same as Poundland, which everything isn't a pound anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, they need. I think it's time to rebrand. But it doesn't sound as good as Fiverr.
I do find that some of the jumps in pricing now and again, when I've gone, oh, I wonder what people charge for video editing or stuff. Some of the jumps make no sense to me whatsoever. They go from like $10 to like 100. You go, what? Just for like 10 minutes extra work or something.
Yeah.
But one thing Floyd did say was, should I do cold outreaches? I think that I'm not a fan of anyone that emails me unsolicited with, hey, Imran, we think we can do XYZ for you. You know, I don't really care about a lot of that. But the
You
only
like my
time
unsolicited
the
emails.
only time where I might give it a second look is when it really is talking to me. I can tell when someone's just pulled over a generic email and they've gone, hi, Web Squadron, hi, Imran. Oh, yeah, we love your channel or whatever. We think we can do. It's a generic. But if they talk to me more about my business or what I do, or I feel like they're actually saying, we've looked at your website, and they've gone and put a screenshot, or they've mentioned something about what they could do or how could they help me out, I wouldn't use them anyway. But if you imagine there's a business out there now and they sell flowers, and then someone is actually talking to them about their business, they might give you a second look. And I feel like you've got to put more time in. You can't
Yeah,
just
but I mean, just come across
Imran,
feeling like a bit
can
of
I
a
make a
busybody, don't you?
suggestion?
Oh, sorry,
Can I
John's
make
got a suggestion.
here?
Yeah. Go on. Oh, no,
Yeah,
go on, John. Go on.
you actually put out a video and a load of content about LinkedIn last year as a launch pad to get working.
LinkedIn is really, really good if it works. There is no
You
magic
put
formula.
LinkedIn out.
Don't believe anything. There is no magic formula.
Yes.
And you could have 10 people who do exactly the same thing, but 5 of them will get loads of high paying clients and the other 5 don't. It all depends on who sees you at what time on the timeline, kind of thing, you know. But LinkedIn is a great way to build up
But
a
you
bit
have
of a
to-
following with high paying clients.
But you do have to invest a lot of time and
Oh,
effort
yeah.
into LinkedIn.
Time. Local SEO. If your company name contains the town you're in and is keyword rich, as much as Google like to say it doesn't matter, bloody does.
But the other thing as well you've got to bear in mind is that a lot of people, when they want to work with someone, especially if they don't have a portfolio of high ticket clients, they like to work with someone they can talk to. Regardless of, yes, it's nice that you can do screen shares and you can do things like this. And if you don't have a presence like Imran, like Mark now, because let's be honest, he's the face of Web Squadron these days. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but all these things kind of play into how you attract clients. If you've got a social media in whatever way, whether it's Instagram or something, if you've got a strong social media presence, I mean, a good example of this is, I don't know if you know the Web Stylist. Now, he's commented on tons of my videos over the years, and I sort of follow him on Instagram and stuff, and he's very, very good in social media marketing and the web development side of things. He's doing a really good job of promoting his is his image. Do you know what I mean? And getting good high ticket clients. But as Mark says, if you focus on your sort of geographic location and maybe like with a radius that you'd be happy to travel to meet clients, that is probably, when you're starting out, that's probably a better market to tap into than trying to go for a global market via something like Fiverr or Upwork or even LinkedIn. These are all things that are faceless. But when you kind of you target and promote and like Mark says, focus on your local SEO and those kinds of things, you'll have a better chance of doing that. Maybe they're not high ticket clients to start off with, but they're probably going to be better than going down the Fiverr route, because you can meet, you can negotiate, you can understand them. All those things will help you build a relationship with those potential clients and ultimately clients.
That does remind me of something. It's really good you mentioned that, Paul, is that during the lockdown, there was someone who in our area, they went round all the takeaway stores. And the takeaway, if people are in the UK, you will have heard of Just Eat, Deliveroo, Uber Eats, and they were all using them. But if you're using those companies, you've got to pay a bit of a premium to be on their platform. So this guy
20%.
went around and he basically says you can continue doing that, but you could also have like a website, and then you'll have an app for mobile phones as well for people to order. And the app and websites he was building were utter rubbish. But every company, and there must be about 25 companies in the area, they're all signed up to his company. And I don't know what he was charging. I didn't look deeper into it, but they all paid for it. So he went around actively. I don't know if he went through the door, if he rung them or whatever he did, but he
If
was
it was
getting
during
them signed
lockdown,
up.
I can't imagine him going through the door.
No, actually, that's a good.
That's why they paid him. Get out.
Just outside the window. Hello, let me in.
But the other thing, sorry to interject there, but it kind of
yeah.
follows on from what you're saying and go back to Floyd's question. Cold calling in the UK is a bad thing.
Oh, yeah.
But you've got to bear in mind, cold calling in other countries can be very, very successful and powerful. So we have to bear in mind, like, pricing changes in different geographic locations.
Yeah.
How people perceive and accept things like cold calls, face-to-face walk-ins, things like that. It'll work great in some countries and doesn't work very well in others.
Be really interesting to get some people in these chats from other countries to talk about the differences between, like, cold calling, like the pricing of websites, how people respond to cold emails, because they are very different. We are all three very British.
Yes.
Yeah, we are very British.
From speaking to people, cold calling and cold emailing is the norm with American clients. It's almost like it's just totally accepted. It's okay. Whereas here, the minute I get a phone call,
in the last 20 years, the only 2 occasions I can think of where I've really lost my temper, cold calls.
Well, I can tell you where I did lose my temper. GoDaddy. Because
really?
no, seriously.
What, you mean as a call?
Yeah. Because there was an option, right, that you had to opt out of, that once you set up an account, whether that was like, I use them for domain registration, not for hosting. I never have used them for hosting. But there's an option on there that you are optionally tagged into, which means that they can follow up to find out if you're happy with their service. And I had a right argument with one of the guys, because he was phoning. And I got to be honest, if I get a phone call, I just press the block on my phone. But for some reason, either I didn't have the block available at the time, whatever it was. But he phoned me a couple of times, and I put the phone down on him. And he phoned me back and had a go at me for it. So we had about a 20-minute discussion, at which point I told him that if they ever contacted me again, blah, 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 blah. You kind of get the picture. But that to me is a pee take. It's like, I bought some domains from you for like $20 a pop. You don't need to be calling me. Simple.
Wow, I think that's the I've never ever had a GoDaddy call, and do you know what? If they were to call me, if that meant I get to jump the queue for how long it normally takes when you're on the hold with them, I'll probably go, great. Now I want to talk about this client you've got, right? I don't have to sit here waiting for 45 minutes. You are in a queue like hell we are. But yeah, cold calls, it's not a good thing to do in the UK. America, it seems to work really well. So yeah, Floyd or anyone out there, try it out.
Just going back to the local thing, I get calls. Yeah, it's great. You're local. It means you're just around the corner. If I need to pop in and see you, in reality, they don't.
No, they don't. No.
but it's just it's a kind of a subliminal sales thing, isn't it? Where they think,
Well, it's
local, God, that's great.
do you get people that come to the door, like they're gardeners or whatever, and they turn up and they go, right, we're just working in the area,
Oh yeah,
and I go to them,
drive cleaners, driveway
and
cleaners.
and I always say, but so shouldn't you be there finishing the work then? And they always kind of go, huh? They weren't expecting that. But yeah, again, not interested in it. But like going back to that thing about that menu app and what Paul was saying, if we've got about, oh god, it's always a running joke in our area. There's like 8 or 9 hairdressers in the area, and we always wonder how many heads are there to cut hair for. Just go around, visit them, contact them, because a lot of them don't
even
have.
say it.
A lot of them don't. Oh no, sorry. A lot of them don't have, like, I know for a fact a lot of them don't have online booking systems or anything like that, any appointment structure. So if you feel like you can offer a service, just go round. And that's how you get your foot in the door. And once you have built a website for even a hairdresser, they're going to know someone who owns a flower shop or something like that. And they go, oh, I think they could really, they might want a website as well. And don't believe the hype and the absolute utter shit that is all over TikTok at the minute. You're going to earn $10,000, you can do. I've got videos, but don't believe all that hype. You got to start small. And I always say, so I'll let you come in, Paul.
Go on.
Now, what I'll say is that always look at what do you need to break even each month? Like, what do you need to keep the roof over your head, right? And it might be £500, it might be £1,000. I don't know, whatever it is. What do you need to earn? Do that, okay? And even if you only do that for the next 12 months, as long as you're doing that, good. After that, everything else is gravy. So don't sit there going, I'm going to make $10,000 every month. Don't start dreaming like that. Just start small and slowly things will grow. A bit like a plant.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, go Paul.
We won't go there. The other thing to consider is you kind of maybe think about it with the 10 hairdressers. I mean, one of the things that where my business is originally based, that was very much based upon tourism. So what I would do is do some market research in your area and look at, right, what do we have large amounts of businesses? So like you say, accommodation-based businesses where I was based. And one of the things that they didn't have, probably 99% of them, was any form of online booking. And they were all really reticent to kind of go on down the online booking section. And it's like, my argument was, well, let's be honest about it. People, when they want to go and stay somewhere, chances are they pay with a credit card. They are not going to pick up the phone and phone you up and say, can I pay by credit card over the phone, please, to make this booking? No, because when it's 2:00 in the morning, thinking, let's go away on the weekend, have a dirty weekend.
Great strategy.
Mark will
great strategy. Really good strategy, that.
But you can kind of look, okay, there's a niche in the market that's not being served. And there's a niche in the market that needs to be served. How can I look at how I can become the specialist in that area? You've niched down into that thing, or you've niched down into particular websites, whether that's, you deal with hotels and you deal with the booking system, you deal with all those things. Make yourself someone that becomes invaluable. Do you know what I mean? It's not saying you have to exclude working with other clients, but if you've got a really underserved market, focus on that market and become the go-to person in that area.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is I tend to overanalyze things like that. And then I start thinking about, I don't know when you were doing that, but now we've got things like booking.com and all these other things that hotels are on, and they work with their reservation systems. But if you're looking at small hotels, which you get quite a lot of in the UK, 4, 5, 6, 7 bedroom.
Yeah. But the other thing to consider is if you go back, if you use booking.com or those kinds of things, Airbnb, the same as, like you said, with Just Eat and so on, they're at least 20% off every single sale. So I've done this. If you go to the client and say, look, it'll cost you, let's just say £200 to put a simple online booking system in that ties into your Outlook calendar. So all of it is kind of automated to each other. You can even connect up to things like booking.com, so they'll talk to each other. If you said, well, how many bookings would it cost you to recoup that 200 quid or 500 quid or whatever? But then move forward past that. This is going back to your how much do you need to earn a month? And say, right, okay, well, you're still on booking.com and you still make bookings from there. But what I do and what my missus does is we'll look to see if that business has their own website and you can book on their website, because chances are it's cheaper to book direct with them than it is to go through booking.com. Well, if you can make it easy when people do land on your website and go, you've got all the same experience as booking.com, you can book on there, you can reserve it, you get automated emails come through, blah, 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 blah. You can very quickly sell someone and saying, look, this isn't to replace booking, this is to augment it and potentially make you more money by when people come direct to you, and a portion will come direct to you, then you get 100%, minus credit card charges, of that fee, as opposed to 80%, which point you'll have to inflate your prices to cover that 20%, or you lose 20%. One way or the other, that money's going to go from somewhere.
Yeah, and it's like, so someone that we worked with about a year ago, I said to them that I know that if I walk in through the door, I can buy a bag of fish and chips for X. But I know that on this online app, you've increased your prices by 20%, and you've done that to cover the cost of that. You've now outpriced yourself because someone will go to the other store down the road and blah, blah, blah. And it was basically like, the cost of the website and all of that. When you businesses, when you start talking about the profit they can make or reclaim, they start listening, right? If you just say, hey, you can have a wonderful website, they might go, nah. But the minute you start to say there's money back in your pocket,
Sell the
even with
benefits.
initial investment.
I mean, you've also got to have an answer to the question. Yeah, but there's loads of sort of marketing built into Deliveroo, where if somebody just clicks, I want fish and chips. So you've also got to kind of have the answers for that as well. But you're right, but there are lots to think through.
Yeah, maybe restaurants and takeaways are not the best.
No,
comparison there.
Kind of over.
Yeah, but I think because the ticket item there is your 20, 30, 40 quid kind of thing. But when you're talking about a room that could be 200 to 500, maybe even more per night, then it doesn't take so long to recoup that cost. And the other thing to consider is all this. Don't sell the cost. Don't sell any of that. You sell the benefit. How do we make yours and your customers' life easier by doing X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
And it's going to cost you this much is the last thing you talk about.
And it's also like, like the ease of updating, the ease of doing promotions, the ease of doing above and beyond, I mean, I don't know the specifics of Just Eat, right? What can you show? What can't you show? Particular images, how you want to do things. You've got this whole bespoke way of doing things. Now, Dave, very quickly, I don't use Core Framework. He goes, how do you submit bug reports? I don't know, Dave. I mean,
I would probably go to I'd go to the Facebook group, tag in the developer.
Thinking, yeah.
I can't think of his name. David Babinek, I think it is. If you do a search for him in the Core Framework group, you could probably tag him in and suggest there's an issue, or maybe just sort of message him directly, but probably go through the route of the Facebook page to start off with. Group.
So we've kind of talked quite a bit about, cold call and, going out to businesses. What is the one thing that comes to mind that you would say to any business not to do? And I feel like cold calling in the UK is one of them. But are there any examples that you've had of a business trying to do something to get clients that you would say don't do? And I don't even know why I've suggested this topic, because I'm struggling to come up with one now as an example. But cold call is the number one I tend to say in the UK, don't do that. But
those emails that point out errors on your site,
yes,
wind me up no end.
They do. I get that a lot. Or
emails that have got wrong data, like, we've looked at your site and you could be ranking better in your local area. Really? I'm first. Where are you going to put me?
Yeah.
Where they haven't done their research. So emails where people haven't done their research, or they just kind of offend you in some way.
Well, I think it's more like generic emails, isn't it? It's like when I detect or I sense that I can tell. What's worse is when you get an email and it says hello and then it's got square bracket insert name
or a different font. So you can see where they've just literally just done a mail merge, or they've copied and pasted your name. Or they get your name wrong. They think you're a different YouTuber. I've had that several times. And I replied back and saying, I think you've got the wrong channel. You might want to go and check your statistics kind of thing. And they go, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like, too late. You pissed people off now.
Right. Phil says, I don't think Bluehost should be doing web hosting. So many... I admit to signing up to Bluehost back in, I think it was 2010, I think it was, and I was trying them out. And at first, I thought they were really good. I thought, yeah, they're really, they're all right. But the minute you start to do anything beyond the standard WordPress and you start to install like a template or a theme, it just went AWOL on me. And I've lost count of how many times I've had to move clients from Bluehost to something else. And that's not with me telling them to. It's because they literally are like, I'm fed up of Bluehost. But if anyone out there does love Bluehost, great, good for you. But Bluehost and GoDaddy are my two hosting platforms I try and get clients to get off.
Two cold
I
calls.
saw who was it? It was somebody suggesting on a channel. I can't remember where it was. They were saying they were thinking of, after so long, leaving Bluehost, and Nicholas chimed in with Elementor Hosting and saying they've got a package for people with multiple sites and what have you. I was just looking at their offering. It's like, I think it's 20 websites, 40 gigs of space, blah blah blah. I was just thinking, it's rubbish. It's just rubbish. One or two busy sites, and you're going to chew through your space and or bandwidth they're offering. I just don't get it.
Yeah. I always say that don't get swayed by unlimited websites or 20 websites. Always remember, what are you doing with that one website? How much traffic do you think you're going to get? And you might find that you might only get 2 or 3 websites on there, especially if they grow.
And be prepared to be surprised. Because
Yeah.
sites you think you build for people, maybe a redesigned new site, and you take over the hosting, and you think, yeah, it won't be that busy, and it's like, oh, bloody hell!
I think I didn't fully understand inodes until a while ago.
Just don't.
Inode is this fictitious thing that nobody understands. It's just like, what the friggin' hell's an inode?
Yeah, well,
is that a cPanel thing?
Well, it's a funny thing because it's like in some places, like an inode could literally be every letter of a word. So if you got a 5-letter word, each one of them is an inode, and it's just it's so difficult to measure accurately. And you go onto a basic website where all you've got is like WordPress. You haven't got any theme or plugin added, and it goes, 4,000 inodes gone, and you go, what?
Well, that sounds like trying to work out ChatGPT API usage. It's another dark art, isn't it? Or your Google Maps API.
Or your Google Maps.
Yeah.
Or now your Capture.
I was just about to say. So Nicholas isn't in here, is he?
He's lurking.
If he's lurking, can we have?
No. If he was, he normally says hi if Nicholas is there. By the way, Tidy Cal, I posted it on this. So I normally use Calendly, but I've been playing around for a while to try and find a better solution, mainly because Calendly is really good, but I just don't like paying whatever it is per month. Is it $12?
Does John look like Rutger Hauer in that photo?
There is that. I do think.
Or does Rutger Hauer look like John? That's the question you have to ask.
We need to Photoshop Rutger Hauer into a van, and then we'll have our answer.
Yeah. And I heard about Tidy Cal a while ago, but finally signed up to it. And what you get for the lifetime deal, it's actually really good. Go on, Paul, you're going to say something.
I was going to say, Phil says about inode just file or folder items. Just call it files and bloody folders. We all understand that. Don't make up a stupid name just because it's a Linux thing.
I just don't. It's like it. And like, if you are worried about inodes, the minute you add WooCommerce, that's 10,000 inodes gone. Boom. It just, so, and I feel like it's something that a lot of hosting platforms do not make clear at all either. Like SiteGround, you have to expand a particular section for it to explain how many inodes you get. But because it doesn't explain to you what an inode is, you look at it and go, 400,000 inodes. That's plenty. I can handle that. 20 websites later, you now get the emails going, you are now well within the threshold. If you don't reduce it, we're going to slow down your website.
But the biggest pain in the butt with SiteGround is once you have a site that goes over that inode limit, you can't get into it very easily to reduce the files and things in there because you're basically locked out of it. So it's like,
Well, it's so one of the things I found was OP cache, and you have to flush it out. And with SiteGround, you can't do it unless you FTP in and all of that. And even then, it's very tricky because I did a video on it, and it took me, because you have to what's it called? You got to install a few things to get in. And eventually I just got SiteGround to do it for me. You got to go through lots of like back and
Hoops.
forth with them to do it. But yeah, OP cache, I think it's called. It's a bit of a pain to do.
but not good if you've got client sites on there and you've got, like you say, a high traffic site can take down more than just that site on a
Yeah.
shared hosting with SiteGround. So
Yeah. And that's where you have to have a difficult conversation with your clients and just go, I think that's the thing where, so look, when I don't offer hosting solutions now, but in the past when we used to, you go and get a shared server. Yeah, we'll get 15 websites on there, or we can handle it, or whatever. And you go, oh, it's going to be, I don't know, 150 or 200 pounds for the year. We get 15 websites on there. We charge them X, Y, Z. It's profit, gravy money. Yay. And now the client comes to me. I will say to him, right, you need to go on X, Y, Z for your website. It's probably going to cost you 200 or whatever a year with a third party, but that's what you got to pay. You want an Elementor license or a Bricks license, whatever, you have to pay. That's what you got to pay. And if they don't like it, they can go elsewhere now, because I've realized now that trying to make it easier for them actually makes it harder for us later on. You know, you offer them a really cheap solution as part of like a shared package. The minute that website grows, or they want more stuff on it, or, you know, better securities or CDNs and whatever, it's now our problem to go and sort that out. So I'm very much like, no, here's the best solution for you based on what I think you need, and now you've got to go and pay for it. If they don't like it, don't care.
the dodgy thing with that, or the potential with that, is that even though you've kind of, let's just say, you've moved them over to a dedicated hosting account, but they've taken your word on it, and then when something goes wrong, which potentially will, it's your fault. Whereas if you have the shared hosting, or, you know, if you manage the dedicated hosting, or whatever you kind of do with it, at least you can very easily get in there into a system that you're comfortable with, and you can make adjustments for them should they need it. So I think it's a sort of like a swings and roundabout situation. There's benefits, there's positives, there's negatives on both sides. It depends how comfortable you are with, you know, 90% of clients never coming back to you, but you're making residual income from it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very particular about where they will go. So I won't give them a list and go, yeah, you know, if you want to use GoDaddy, go for it. I've actually made a decision back in 2022, and I've stuck to it, where if anyone comes to me and they do use GoDaddy, I don't want to know. I'm absolutely fed up with working on GoDaddy websites. And I just want to put out there that there's loads of events every year that are sponsored by GoDaddy. So GoDaddy do a lot of supporting events out there. That being said, though, I still don't rate them. I really don't. I'm really sorry. I feel like it's great that they do a lot of this. Bluehost do as well, you know, but they're part of the same umbrella company. It's great they do that. They're sponsoring events and meetings.
I'm sure drug dealers donate to their local community as well. It doesn't make
I think that's kind of
how many serial killers have had a really good charity initiative involved for them?
Yeah. I'm listening to a podcast on BBC Sound. It's called Good Bad Billionaire, and it's about how billionaires, we all know, made their first million, their billion, and then it goes on to rate them. But it talks about things like what nasty things they've done, how much they give to charity, and all these things, and then come up to the end and rate them. And as a rule, it's fairly interesting.
But bear in mind the tax relief you get from donating to charities. There's financial benefits as well, I think, that might incentivize, you know, that sort of charitable arm of the company.
Yes.
I do want to say, though, if GoDaddy did ever decide to sponsor, by the way, I have reached out to Pepsi, company many times, right? They don't reply to me. I don't know what if anyone here has any inroads into Pepsi. How do I get Pepsi to sponsor me? You know, I'll happily wear their t-shirts and whatever they want me to wear within reason. But it's so far they don't ever get back to me.
But Disney have, and so have Helly Hansen by the looks of things. So you're both doing all right.
No, Disney has just a t-shirt. Is yours just a t-shirt, or have they sponsored you as well, maybe? Paul?
No, not at all. Let me just move the microphone out of the way.
No, but yeah, sorry, I think I missed a question. No, Coke. No.
There was a question. There was a question. Jeez.
No. I mean, that being said, I know we talk very little about WordPress stuff on here, but I always feel like
this has been a good one. We've spoken a lot about tech.
Yeah, there's more to web design than WordPress. That's all we've got
exactly.
to
Yeah,
say.
and I think that's a really good point. In that, so something that was mentioned. Where was it? I can't remember where it was mentioned. It was mentioned somewhere. It was on Facebook somewhere, one of the posts about how isn't WordPress a funny thing? I love WordPress, and I would like to think a lot of you do as well because we use it. But isn't WordPress a funny beast? Because when you compare it to, say, Webflow and other solutions out there, I don't know much about Webflow, okay? I've looked at it, but never really went deep into it. But these are solutions where you can jump in and do what you want. WordPress, at the end of the day, really deep down, it's just like the foundation, but you've got to add stuff on to really use it. You know, if you really want to get the best out of it or get more out of just the standard, even with like GeneratePress, you still got to add GeneratePress in. You know, if you just go for standard hardcore WordPress, right, it's a little bit bleh kind of thing. You've got to add stuff on. And it's a funny thing how why is it that we still have to do that? You know, 20 years on, I know they're always trying to do improvements, but I don't think we're ever going to get away from the fact that you can't just use WordPress. You've got to use add-ons.
If you didn't, then it would just be another Wix, wouldn't it? Or something like that. Closed off ecosystem.
How dare you say that? But yeah, it's true. Yeah.
You know.
But it's one of those it's a funny thing.
I mean, this is it. We're living in a world where big tech companies are getting in trouble for not making their devices user repairable.
Well, yeah, like Apple and
So, and that's like I don't know if you've come across the Framework laptop, but again, it's a laptop that you can upgrade bits in it, and I think Linus from Linus Tech Tips is
he's invested into it, hasn't he?
Yeah,
do you know that's a really good point.
So, you know, actually, I think the world might head back more towards the WordPress way. In a way, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Away from the Webflows, Shopify's, Squarespaces. With these, I've intrinsic distrust of software as a service things. I just don't like somebody else having control, not of my data, but of my business.
Yeah,
and I don't care about my data so much, but it's if one of those companies goes the way of the pair, you're screwed.
That's why I've always I've never really liked the closed infrastructure, because they're really big and I can't see them like blowing up and, you know, going bust anytime soon. But I always feel like there's this huge amount of risk attached to it. Whereas with WordPress, if Bricks suddenly went under, you're going to have other solutions. If Breakdance go under, you'll have other, you know, and the same can be said.
But not only that, you'll still have a working version of Bricks.
Exactly.
Whereas if Wix went, just be turned off.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, that there is that flexibility that what was really good last year might not be the flavor of the month anymore, or something better might come along. It's like InstaWP. So Paul used that a lot. But if something came along that made you go, oh, wow, that just kind of means I can do more with it, and it works within the way you like to work, we're not kind of like, I think we've moved away from this like thing where we go, no, I won't. No, that's all I'm going to use. We are open to ideas.
Well, some are.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, you are right. I think I was
Yeah.
being a little bit too generalistic there.
Well, I
Um,
just think you've got to look at the tribalism we've talked about many
yeah.
times before,
Well,
and you can see it's like we said, I think in the last live stream last week, it's like tribalism isn't limited to specifically WordPress or the web design ecosystem. It's in sport, it's in cars, it's in God knows what. It's in human nature. But you know,
It's about
yes, we could.
defending your choices, actually, mostly, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
but
the fact that you
also
find other people have made the same choices, you'll group together.
yeah, yeah, human nature, isn't
Mm.
it? You want people to validate your decisions and your choices in life. You know,
yeah.
it is a human thing. That's how you bandy together. But it doesn't mean it's a good thing in a lot of ways. You know, like you say, it means that you'll stay beyond something being the right thing. And you know, we see it all the time. I mean, we're probably a little bit sort of more sensitive to it because we are involved in multiple groups. We get comments levied at us because you changed from product X after 25 years to product Y. Why did you do that? I'm still on product X. You should never change. You know, those kind of silly mentalities.
Mm.
But unfortunately, it is incredibly prevalent, and none so more so than looking at the page builder groups. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh.
it's just silly.
It is. It is.
Yeah, it's pushing it a bit far there, Dave.
Yeah, I was
I
going to
know.
say.
It-
Have you got a ban button you can just press now straight away just to kick him out?
he'll find a way. He'll just log in with another account. He's probably got plenty of them. I mean, I will
Nothing
say
constructive
that
to say. Get out.
there are occasions where I wish I had like loads and loads of time in the world where I could, in a way, go really hardcore with full site editing, but I would really struggle. I know that because I know I have not got the skills or expertise to do everything I would want to achieve when I know that I can just go over here and use a plugin, whatever. But I would love it if maybe I did have that time and to just do that so that I was detached from like not having to rely on something, because I think we've all been there where we are using a plugin and then all of a sudden it just goes boom, kaput kind of thing. It just stops working and you suddenly go, I was relying on you kind of
Mm.
thing. And the example I'm going to give is a rubbish one, okay? But there was used to be a plugin called Image to WebP, and I was using it on Lotus websites. It was free. It was bloody good. And then all of a sudden, they just switched off. They stopped working. Everything just stopped, and it meant that I had tons of client websites where all of their images were now just reverted back to PNGs or whatever because they were just uploading, and I had to go through. And that's when I discovered bulk-resizephotos.com. And I was, going through all of that, and it was like, such a headache. So there is always a bit of risk attached to the fact that we are reliant on companies and that's why when companies charge a bit more or they go for a premium route to keep themselves,
Mm-hmm.
Goes
well,
back to lifetime deals, doesn't it? Really?
yeah.
But actually, you mentioned images, and we're talking about pricing. Vectorizer.ai.
Oh God.
Did you find
So-
anything that was even a quarter as good for free?
So just in case anyone's not realized this, and Mark pointed this out, I think a couple of days ago. So Vectorizer.ai is brilliant. I love talking about them and I've shared them in videos. When you have an SVG, even from Photoshop, Canva, anywhere, Vectorizer AI is amazing at sharpening it up. It's really, really good. But now they've got a pricing model in. And do you
It's
remember
not
what
terrible.
the cost was?
£7.99 pounds.
Yeah. So it's not too bad, but it's come without warning. Like
Kinda.
I did not see it. It just like boom, it's happened. And I haven't had time to do it yet, but I was going to try and find an alternative solution. Look, if you really need it, you're going to pay for it, right? You really, really need it, you'll go for it.
Yeah,
But it
that's
was-
great for those client PNG logos that you really want as SVG. Pays for itself. Then
But
It does. I think these are all the things that cost of doing business. People go like, "Oh, I want to be able to do X, Y, and Z, but I only want free plugins." It's like, are you doing this for a client? Well, yeah. You charging the client? Yeah. So why are you not including that in the price?
I mean, I think this particular tool falls into that. Not even a client thing. It's just to make you as a developer designer's life.
Yeah. And for
Not even
£7 a
just-
month,
Yeah, I mean they do add up over time. It's like
they
all
do.
our-
But But
TV
how much
subscription.
extra time? How much extra
Oh,
time would it take you to run it through something else and then refine it and tidy it up if you don't get such a good result?
Oh,
You know,
wow.
it's like if it saves me half an hour a month, £8 worth it. You'd spend more
Yeah.
than that on 2 cups of coffee. Do you know what I mean? And it's like people do that without thinking. So
And it's so quick and easy. You know, it's so
Yeah.
so it's one of those. I think it was a surprise of
I think it
without
surprised me.
warning.
But what was interesting was comparing the output between that and the free Adobe one online.
Yeah,
Just
all right.
worlds apart. It's
they are.
so good. I don't know what black magic and sorcery they're using.
Yeah,
But it's also very good if you were using something like ChatGPT to create, sorry, not ChatGPT, like Leonardo AI or, you know, one of those kind of tools to create logo ideas. And then a client goes, I really like the look of that one. And you can then dismantle it, put the text that you want in there, whatever you kind of want to do with it. It was incredibly good for doing that as well. I done
So
a
you
video
take
on that.
you sort of take the PNG that you've got
Yeah,
from
yeah.
one
Take
AI,
that.
put it into there. Ah,
Yeah, yeah. But also it's good if you use something like what's it called? Photomator, for example. Photomator's got a fantastic upscaler in it. You can 2x your images. So you dump the PNG file that you get from your AI tool, drop it in there, and it's really good with vector art. It's like where you've got this, obviously the jaggy edges, which you get from PNG and JPEG compression and stuff like that. It goes rid of all those, gives you nice straight edges, and then when you run it through something like Vectorizer, it gives you a better result because you're not having all those tiny little vector sort of remnants that have been pulled in from the sort of the edge blending that you're kind of getting from a lower resolution image.
Now I'm going to touch on something which is kind of you're probably going to think, why is he even thinking about this? But there's been lots of AI tools coming out where they say you can generate an AI version of yourself. So if you want to do videos, you just feed it some script. And I'm going to tell you now, they're all utter shit. I've tried out so many of them. And the one that was being floated around, I can't remember what the name of it is now.
so
There's
we've not
one
got
that's
a
been
virtual Imran yet.
No, there's one that's been advertised a lot. Loads of people doing videos on it, but I can tell you now, they are absolutely awful. It's not because I'm not going to still do videos, but sometimes if you want to do a quick 30-second, 1-minute video, it'd be quite neat to just have something that you could just generate to put something out there, like a quick promo or something, whatever. But they're all absolutely appalling, except one's just popped up on Facebook that I've not seen before called Pecan. So I'll be looking at that after the live chat just to go see, well, okay, let's see how good this is then. But they all, what's really irritating is, and it's probably the way I speak, is whenever they generate something, my voice is like this.
You should stop pretending
Really
you're in the
high
UK, Imran.
Hey?
You should stop pretending you're in the UK.
Oh, yes. So of all the criticisms I get, I have had more than one person accuse me of not being in the UK. They think I'm somewhere else in the world and I'm pretending to be. Like once someone said, I can tell that you're using some audio synthesizer or, you know, modification to make yourself sound British. And I was like, you what? What kind of, where are they getting this from? So yeah, it ain't true. I am in the UK. I mean, you know, it's freezing. Is it cold where you guys are?
No, I got the heating on. It's lovely.
No, it's fine.
I mean, you can tell Imran's British because he could cue in Greg's like the best of us.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I've got,
And
like,
when we were talking about takeaways,
behind me.
Takeaways, he
Oh,
chose fish and chips.
Sorry, what's that?
Got a USB powered one.
Yeah, yeah, you plug it in and then I don't even know what's in it. I think it's like jelly. Can you hear that?
Oh man, I need the toilet now.
And
someone's
talking about
bladder.
heated. There you go.
Oh,
Turn that off.
Oh, you old gits.
yeah. Oh my god.
My God,
I
don't
mean,
tell me the arthritis is playing up, is it, Chance?
Ah,
Oh, me posture's bloody awful today. Oh dear.
what voice was that?
I don't know.
So yeah, just
Keeps you warm when you're out with the dog.
it does.
In.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Turn the heaters on in the car, man. Oh, then again, I suppose when the door's open.
Yeah, I'm tall. You need the extra space.
Yeah, so I'm playing
lost
around with
him, man.
AI quite a bit, and I keep saying this on nearly every week, yeah, but I'm struggling to keep up with all the AI tools. I really am. And you shouldn't have to like get overexcited about every AI tool that comes out. But I always feel like I don't want to miss the boat. You know, if there's something really good out there that's going to help me in my life or the business, I want to be part of it, kind of thing. But yeah, I'm struggling to keep up at the moment with AI. Um,
But it's just become a buzzword, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
it
Everything
has,
is
it has. There is
having
that.
AI attached to it, which in some instances it works well, but in other instances it's kind of like, what was the point? Why did you include AI in that? What benefit does it actually bring to the table?
So Shaquille says, "Have you guys ever used a cost calculator plugin by StyleMix?" Nope, I haven't.
No, what's it for? What
I
do you want to
mean, the
use it for?
question I would have is, what do you need a cost calculator for?
Is it to go with
Basically,
WooCommerce? Is it for something completely different?
exactly. Yeah. So, or is it just like on your contact form? You know, what are you calculating?
Is it a cost estimation thing for website design? In which case, there's one on Code Canyon by a chap goes by the name of Lupus.
Lupus?
Yeah, there's Code Canyon.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
but
an
it's
STD?
good. It is good, but it's
Hmm.
bloody complicated because anything from there tends to be.
One of my
What is this?
favorite, yeah, one of my favorite plugins for basic cost calculators is Forminator, especially if you want them to then have a total cost and they want to pay there and then via
Mhm.
PayPal or Stripe. It's
Yeah,
really good what you can do for free.
I'm a
There's a lot.
Gravity Forms user, but
Yeah,
There's
the
there's a
style,
lot. There's a lot in Forminator free. There's a lot of
yeah,
functions in there for a free plugin.
the styling options are not so great, so you're going to
No.
have to get dirty with quite a bit of CSS if you're okay with that. They do have options; they're just not very expansive.
Hmm.
They can look a bit bland, but other than that, I mean, it's really weird because they have a premium version, and all the premium version gives you is the option. I think it was just to do a signature,
Hmm.
so you get everything for free except the signature bit, and it's like, I wonder how many people actually upgrade just for that signature option kind of thing. Literally, that's all because it's not even like DocuSign where you can sign a document. It's just sign a contact form, which I don't know. I struggle a little bit with how many would even go for that.
I've got clients who use that on their websites.
What's that?
I've got clients who use it.
What, like sign a contact form? Can you give an example of why they would do that? I mean, I normally always link it to they've got to sign a document. So would you have them sign Is it like
So on their phone, they use the finger, and obviously,
oh,
on
is this
the
when they're
PC
sharing images and videos with you?
No, they're just proper clients, proper bloody use case. So, they're filling in a big form. They've got some tick boxes for consents, and then I
Oh, right.
sign that I've read and agree, blah blah blah, that Mark can use my pictures anywhere he wants or whatever. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly
Mark.
where I was going with it.
That's why Mark's
Exactly.
nickname is Mark Deepfake.
Oh, I did watch a long video about how to create the whole deep.
Oh, right. Sorry. When was going then?
Instagram persona. Really, really, really clever stuff.
What, like an AI
Yeah.
person? Yeah.
You see these stories. Oh, this Instagrammer is making 10 grand a month,
Hmm.
and they're not real.
Yeah.
Right, how do you do that then? Because that sounds
Ask
like a
him,
great
Mark.
way to pay the bills.
He's not real.
Yeah.
Hey, I can even change your voice to sound like you're from Britain. Hey, I've got it cracked.
Could you change Paul so he sounds like he's from Britain as well?
Oh no, just the dialect might go a bit weird. So also, Paul, you there's I
Careful
feel
now.
like, when you're talking, the instances of a Welsh accent, I feel like I've lessened. I feel like it's not so strong.
I've never felt like I've got a particularly strong Welsh accent.
Yeah,
No,
I don't.
really.
It's kind of it's not like it's not. Yeah, that you don't detect it as often.
No, I don't start the video going, all right, but how's it going?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Pontypandy kind of thing.
Abercombe bucket flyover, actually.
Yeah. Now, Funmania says, I want to add online game on my website. Okay, so what online game? Is it an online game from a third party? Have you got an iframe? Have you got an embed code? What's the purpose of the online game? Not everyone's going to like it. Is it a preload? People don't always like preload. I remember in the old days.
It's a flash game.
Yeah, I remember in the old days when you had there was some Commodore 64 games where as it was loading, you'd get like a Space Invader game slowed up,
Yeah,
and
the
you'd
sub
play
game.
it, and then just
Yeah.
as you were doing really well, the game would start. You'd be like, oh, flipping out the game. Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
unless there's a
you know,
purpose.
with Google, if you lose connection and you're on Google browsing, there's a game in there where the dinosaur appears. That screen, there's a game behind that.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, the dinosaur runs and you jump over things. It's really
When
cool.
you lose a connection.
So you lose connection to the web, and the Google error comes up. Oh, dang! Whatever, we can't connect to that. And I think
That's
if you
why-
press space, the game starts.
That's why Google bloody browser is so massive as a resource hog. It's constantly loading that in the background just in case you go offline.
Right, so Fun Mania says bingo type. Look, well, most likely you've answered the question there. If it's a HTML game, you'll have some HTML code then.
Yeah, but also
Remember,
this then asks, is this actually gambling? Are people paying money to win money? What do you what?
I mean, I don't know. You know, do you pay and you get special photos and videos recorded by? I don't know what kind of. But Richard says, do you guys have ways to add thousands of gap in a currency number? Oh, thousands.
The comma for thousands.
Or just a space, so like 1 space 000 space 000 space.
Yeah, well, put the comma in between, kind of thing. So 1,000 for 1,000.
But maybe not the comma, just a space.
Good question.
Well, I would assume the comma, because otherwise the space would look a bit weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question.
Also depends what tool you're using.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, I know
he's saying using ACF, and he's mentioned Advanced Fever, so it's ACF in bricks.
I'm not. I don't think we've got a oven ready answer to give you, but
No.
ChatGPT
Probably would.
Yeah, go and have a specially
You search for like
Shaquille has seen the dinosaur.
Yes, see, I'm not making it up.
Yeah, but just because Shaquille said he's seen it doesn't really mean anything, really, does
Well,
it? It's not really
video proof,
evaluated, is it?
Everybody's going to just kill their connection now just to find out.
Yeah, suddenly viewers drop to 0 because they're all playing dinosaur games.
Hey Eden, great to see you here. Hope you're okay. By the way, Eden, any new things about Reincubate Camo, please do share, because I love using Reincubate Camo. Still my favorite tool.
Sounds like a way of bringing up camouflage dinosaurs to me for some reason. I don't know. I don't get it.
What's
Staying
that?
on a dino. Reincubate camo. So you've got incubation and camouflage, and just don't get it. I know it's probably cam software, isn't it?
It is a funny name. I've never really understood how the name of the company, but it's a name of a company. But the great thing about the app or the tool is that obviously I use it for my iPhone. Any webcam you've got connected works with it. So even if you've got a 4K camera or whatever, and a lot of webcam cameras don't come with great settings. You have the camera, plug and play, and the settings are atrocious. This gives you so much settings with exposure, white balance, brightness, contrast, saturation, all of that stuff. So it's really, really good. But so I do recommend having a look at it. Dave has gone and said number format with that. So
yeah, or indeed somebody else suggesting JavaScript would be the friend.
Yeah, well
also,
done.
Can we kick a teeth? All he's doing is like making snidey comments from the galleries. The truth is revealed. Just kick him out.
Artif, you're happy to. By the way, but I am going to close off the live chat in about 2 minutes. We've been live for 1 hour, 8 minutes. I'm going to make sure that Mark and Paul get some time back. I'm going to go and grab something to eat as well.
How's he going to give us time back?
I know.
Give us time back.
I already feel like I've wasted.
Sorry.
Do I send some work your way? Is that what?
Sorry. Oh dear. Do you know what? So this is something that people said a lot during NHS meetings, and even I used to laugh at it and go, "Well, you've wasted an hour of my life already." They'd always say this, like 5 minutes before, say 1 o'clock, they go, "Right, we're going to give you five minutes back," and it's almost like you feel like you have to say thank you to them for doing that for you. Sorry, force of habit kicked in there. I always used to get wound up by that as well. I'd be like, we could have just done this over email. You could have sent me a PowerPoint to explain all the crap you just have.
Oh, who doesn't love a PowerPoint presentation?
Oh, I love it when clients send you that with all their images they want you
Oh,
to
yeah.
put in the PowerPoint.
Man,
Like a Word document with the images embedded.
Oh, yeah.
that's the worst. Or what's even worse is when they've actually spent the time to actually put animation in. So when you get to the slide, an arrow comes in and says, click contact. And then it says, go to contact page. And you go, really? I never would have guessed that kind of thing, you know. But I have had people do that, you know.
What used to really annoy me was where you had Outlook. You see a nightmare for this. People would drag and drop their images into Outlook, and it would embed them into the email, but you couldn't actually copy them or delete or sort of take them from there.
Mhm.
So it's like you'd have this email that's like this long with tons and tons of images in it. You could do nothing with. Couldn't take them off there. So you'd have to screen grab them and all faff about. And it's like, oh, geez, just send the bloody things. Thank God for Dropbox. That's all.
The Apple Mail used to be a pain for
WeTransfer.
that.
Mail big file.
Yeah,
Yeah.
any of these. They're all really handy. I've had that issue recently with people just sending stupid photos badly.
I
One
wonder
this
what
big.
kind of photos.
Of food, in this case.
Oh, really? That's
Yep,
the
yep.
new
In
fetish,
this
is
case.
it?
Well, I mean, have you heard of, is it sploshing?
Yes. just go back to Channel 4 years ago when you used to have what was the French program? you used to have on Channel 4?
Eurotrash.
That's it. Yeah, there's a big episode of sploshing on there, wasn't there?
Oh, that was the
dear.
highlight. That was the
Friday
highlight.
night
Friday nights,
sorted.
wasn't it? It was
Mhm.
Yep.
it was the word.
That opened your
Yeah.
eyes to so many
Eurotrash.
weird things.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it was like that was the highlight. You know, that's what you stayed up late for back then. You know,
Yes.
with your cold pizza and whatever drink you could find.
You'd rush back from the pub for a bit of quality Eurotrash.
Off cut and watch a sploshing episode.
Lovely.
For anyone out there that does not know what Eurotrash is, be very careful if you start Googling and
don't
going
look
looking
at
up
sploshing.
videos of it.
Yeah, add sort of Channel 4 TV show to your search just to be safe.
What was the presenter called? The presenter, what was his name?
Antoine something? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Antoine de Conti.
No, I don't know. And then what? Didn't John
Come on,
Paul
someone's gotta search
Gaultier
this.
involved in it as well?
He did. I think
He did,
he
yeah,
did.
yeah,
He'd appear
yeah.
now and again.
Yeah.
And then
I did.
Katie
Puckridge. Puckridge.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't believe you remember the
Amanda
name.
de Cadenet did a lot of episodes of maybe she was the Word. Who was the male host of the Word then?
Oh, it was
Oh,
Jules.
Terry
Jules
Christian.
Holland.
Terry Christian. That's it. Yeah, Terry
Mark
Christian.
Lamar,
No,
Danny Bear.
Danny Bear.
Yeah.
Danny, yeah, and there was someone else. That was also
And then of course you had TGI Friday around that era as well.
You did, which was also good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Evans.
hmm
there's one video, there's one thing they did on the Word that I don't think I can ever get out of my memory.
If you mention belly buttons,
no, it's where someone.
I'll do anything to be on TV. Do you remember
It's
that?
where
Oh,
Oh God.
It's where someone vomited into an empty pint glass
yeah,
and they
yeah.
drank it,
yeah.
and then they just
yeah.
basically like exploded back
See,
out again.
This is YouTube before YouTube was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you
It's
saw
all the
that,
freaks and weirdos just went on there and just did videos.
it
So that
was-
would have been the same segment. I'll do anything to get on TV.
Yeah.
That's-
I think
yeah.
it was
yeah.
once you've seen it, you cannot unsee it. Right, I'm going to say goodbye now. Let Mark and I've just realised, Paul, ixnay ombre, ixnay. What does
don't get it.
ixnay mean? Ixnay. I get the
Not a-
ombre, but ixnay. I'm not sure.
No,
About
it was a what do you call it? A Offspring album title, Ixnay and the Ombre.
I'm sure everyone now is going to rush to Google that.
Oh,
Right, I'm gonna
Dave, you
Along
really
with
should,
Sploshing.
you should watch a bit of the 90s telly was
Awesome.
It was. Well,
It was.
it was. I mean, it was
And
like
Channel 4 was edgy.
you know,
Yeah.
who didn't love an episode of Shooting Stars? You know, when it was first on. You know, it was with George.
Yeah.
You know, George. All of that. It was great. It was, and I mean, back then, you know,
Saturday night
TV
telly.
shows were. You know,
It was good.
none of this political correctness or woke crap. It was all good.
They watched
old stuff.
Gladiators and Man O' Man on a Saturday
Oh.
night.
Have you seen the new Gladiators?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
it was
I
on.
watched the first one for old time's sake.
It was on. I caught like 10 minutes of it, and then I quickly switched the channel. I just went, oh no, I just can't. No.
no, it wasn't great. Was not great.
No, no.
Wouldn't pick a fight with many of those gladiators, though. They've got a lot bigger over the last 20 years, haven't they?
They have, but let's be honest about it. If the one guy that was trying to be Wolf on there slammed the door in any more of a camp fashion, it's like through his thing, and the thing's like, oh my god, that wasn't scripted in the slightest. Do you know what I mean?
What,
Like,
Viper. I think is he Viper? I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Viper, yeah.
Yeah,
I
sting
think
in the
that,
tail.
I feel like
God.
this. I think right now the live chat has just morphed into grumpy old men.
Reminiscing, yeah.
That's why everyone said goodbye. There's nobody actually in here anymore.
They've
Just
all
us
gone.
three.
It's just us, isn't it?
Right. Okay. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. I'll be back next week for another exhilarating live chat. And I promise one day we will have pure, hardcore, dedicated WordPress. But we can't help ourselves when
Never
we
gonna
like to
happen.
go off on a tangent. All right.
Never
Take care, everyone. Catch you all soon. Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.